pay ladder. But Gus goes right back to work, raising with a 3-deuce suited.
Jimmy Fricke look at an ace-jack now to Hansen's deuce tray.
Go.
And he will call.
Call.
That'll get Black out, Vogel out. So our two chip leaders once again facing each other heads up to the flop. There is a little pair for Hansen.
Hansen raised before the flop. I expect him to bet on this flop.
And he bets 140,000.
That's actually a suspiciously small bet, and Fricke might think that Hansen's trying to buy this pot. Although we see that Hansen is actually a 4-to-1 favorite going to the turn. Fricke does indeed call.
To the turn, it's a queen of diamonds. Hansen still with a big edge, despite having just a pair of threes with a deuce kicker.
About the only thing Gus Hansen can beat right now is a hand like ace high. He is in fact leading, but he has the courage to bet out.
330,000 to Jimmy Fricke.
I don't see how Jimmy Fricke calls here. You know, his call on the flop showed me that he wanted to see if Gus Hansen was serious, and I believe he's got his answer. No, he's calling.
Wow. Jimmy Fricke not playing by the book, I'll tell you that. And there he catches on the river.
Now will Gus Hansen continue to bet? I mean, you talk about scare cards. You're sitting there with bottom pair. Everything else on the board beats you if your opponent has any piece of the flop. The only way Gus Hansen wins this hand, of course, is to fire, and he does.
770,000 to Jimmy Fricke.
Oh, and Fricke now with top pair on the river's got a call.
I have no idea how he got to this decision with his hand.
He called all the way with nothing. Now he's actually made a hand.
Now that I have, can I fold?
Fricke thinking it over, looking into the face of a champion. He calls.
Fricke's going to win a pot with close to $3 million in it.
Is that pair of threes?
This guy continually gets a bunch of chips involved with very little long-term positive expectation and comes out a winner at the end.
And he escapes this hand, thus he becomes the new chip leader. He's a guy who's established an aggressive style of play, and it's a style of play that has many players talking about it.
Jimmy Fricke.
Fricke.
Jimmy. Well,
Jimmy, what can I say?
he's a young, aggressive player.
He's gotten extremely lucky this tournament.
I mean, he's a doll, very sweet kid, and he can play as good as anyone, if not better.
I'm exciting for the TV. I'm Jimmy Fricke, and I'm from Mahomet, Illinois. I used to play a lot of games like Magic the Gathering and some role-playing games and, you know, stuff that nerds play. I am a nerd. And eventually, a lot of my other friends started getting into poker. I wanted to get really good at it because when I really want to focus on something, I want to be the best. Actually, coming into this tournament, I told someone I'm probably better than 95% of the people in the field. People may think I'm being arrogant, but that's why I came here.
Fricke will add to his stack. Fricke's been playing a lot of pots and playing them effectively.
That just shows you where No Limit is going and how the game is changing and what kind of competition that we got coming.
Jimmy Fricke certainly doesn't lack confidence, and at this point, he doesn't lack chips either.
Not the shine retiring type. Now let's see if Gus can recover and shake off that bad beat that was administered to him by Fricke on the last hand.
The plot thickens.
Now the plot does indeed thicken. Now Gus has got to be like a cornerback here. He's just got to forget what happened. The blinds, incidentally, now 20 and 40,000 and a 5,000 ante. Folding around to Julius Coleman with an ace-10.
Raise.
He will raise to 100,000. Fricky will fold. And now Andy Black squeezing out an ace-queen suited. And he'll call. So 2 players to the flop. And there is an ace. This could get Coleman in a whole heap of trouble here, I would think.
Absolutely. Black checks around to Coleman, expecting the pre-flop raiser to make a continuation bet.
150.
Which he will do. He'll bet 150,000. And Black right behind him raises to 350.
This is a tough decision for Julius Coleman, but he's got to ask himself, why does Andy Black like his hand so much? Remember, Black was in the big blind, and Coleman is going to call. I think this is a little bit of a loose call here, Barry. Andy Black was so quick with that raise there, and remember, there's no flush draw. There's no real straight draw out there.
To the turn, a deuce of hearts, no help to either player.
5.
And Black will bet 500,000. Now what does Coleman do?
Well, he liked his hand on the flop. That deuce should change nothing. So, yeah, he's reaching for chips. I could see him calling, but I also could see him raising all in. And if he does call, he'll only have slightly more than 700,000 left.
Having a lot of trouble getting away from that ace. He will call. 500,000. That'll make him very short stacked. And a 5 on the river. Black checks. Coleman checks. Black will win the hand. And Julius Coleman now officially one of the short stacks at the final table. And Ann and Jake Coleman, of course, for the first time, kind of shake their heads and say, what are you going to do? His dad lost a big one there.
Obviously had you out kicked there.
Well, Andrew Black will finally get on the board. A confidence boost for a man who doesn't have great final table history. We'll be back. Welcome back to the 2007 Aussie Millions. You know, aside from setting the standard in hotel and casino excellence, the Crown offers some of the finest shopping in all of Melbourne. From Prada to Versace to Louis Vuitton, there's something for everyone. Well, there's something for only one person here amongst these 6 at our final table, and that is 1.5 million Australian dollars, just about 1.2 million American dollars. Gus Hansen looking at a King 5 suited. Gus has not had the best of it lately. This looks like he's counting out a raise, and he will raise to 120,000. Action folds around to Hans Martin Fogel. He is one of our short stacks. Pair of jacks immediately all in.
265,000 chips more to Gus Hansen.
Okay, I've never laid down this hand.
It's Queen 7.
It's in that range. 265.
So Hansen does in fact call.
And I have a king with it.
Gus Hansen felt he was pot committed here, but